The more you chase, the faster it runs. Ever notice that? The moment you need that call, that job, that person, life suddenly freezes, like you're screaming into a void. But here's the twist no one talks about. It's not bad luck. It's your grip that's killing it. The grip that kills the flow. The more you need something to happen, the more life seems to shut down. You wake up already tense, heart racing about that deadline, phone clutched like a lifeline, waiting for a reply that never comes. You try to force conversations that clearly don't want to happen. And life, it just stares back at you, like a stubborn cat refusing to move, no matter how loudly you call. Here's what most people never figure out. The tighter you grip, the faster everything slips through your fingers. It's like trying to hold water by squeezing your hand shut. What you think is protecting your chances is actually destroying them. Think about it. When was the last time forcing something actually worked? That job you obsessed over? The one you stressed about for weeks? It probably went to someone who walked in calm, composed, and unattached to the outcome. That relationship you tried to rescue by clinging tighter? It probably fell apart even faster. That creative project you forced yourself to finish under pressure? It probably felt stiff, forgettable. Nothing like the work that flowed effortlessly. There's a reason the most magnetic, successful people move with this strange, unbothered energy. They're not fighting reality. They're not trying to bend every situation to their will. They've learned something most of us only discover after burning out. Life responds better to flow than to force. Let's really sit with that. Because once you see this, you can't unsee it. Most people approach life like they're threading a needle while riding a roller coaster. Everything is urgent. Everything must be controlled. No wonder nothing feels easy. But what if the problem isn't that life is hard? What if the problem is that you're making it harder than it needs to be? The art of letting life happen. Picture someone learning to ride a bike. Now, imagine two versions of them. The first one is stiff, knuckles white, shoulders locked, trying to control every wobble. They fall, over and over, because the tension they think is keeping them safe is actually throwing them off balance. Now the second, they let go. They trust the motion, loosen their grip, let the bike move beneath them, and suddenly, they're gliding. That's how life works. The more you try to micromanage every moment, the more chaotic it becomes. And here's the wild part. The moment you stop fighting for control, things actually start falling into place. You've seen it. We all have. Those people who seem to have incredible luck. The ones who meet the right person at the right time, get the job without groveling, stumble into opportunities like life's playing favorites. But it's not luck. It's not connections. It's not some secret formula they're hiding. They've simply mastered one powerful thing. They stop forcing things. Sure, they still take action, but they don't base their entire identity on every outcome. They don't make every situation life or death. They move with intention, not desperation. And that energy, it changes everything. Because here's what psychology tells us. When you act from a place of fear, when you're desperate, tense, gripping too tightly, your energy repels the very things you're trying to attract. People can feel it. Opportunities feel it. Even your creativity feels it and starts to shut down. But when you move from relaxed confidence, when you trust the process, when you stop demanding control, the game changes. You start noticing doors you never saw before. Conversations flow. Ideas come naturally. And people want to be around you because your energy says, I'm good either way. Pressure kills performance. Let me show you how deep this really goes. Ever try to remember something that was right on the tip of your tongue? You close your eyes, clench your fists, and try harder. But the harder you think, the further away it drifts. Then, out of nowhere, when you've given up and moved on, boom, it clicks. It returns like it never left. That's not magic. That's your brain working without pressure. And guess what? Life works the exact same way. Money comes easier when you're not desperate for it. Relationships form naturally when you're not forcing them. Creative breakthroughs arrive when you're relaxed, not when you're white-knuckling a deadline. Even your physical performance improves when you stop overthinking every move. It's no coincidence that the most unshakable people, the ones who glide through chaos while others fall apart, have all mastered this. They've learned how to stop resisting life's rhythm. Not because they're superhuman, but because they've realized that forcing things is not strength, it's friction. And friction burns you out. But here's where this gets flipped. Society rewards the grind. We're told that if we're not constantly stressing, we're not trying hard enough. That if we're not controlling every variable, we're being irresponsible. That if we're not pushing harder, we're falling behind. But what if all of that is wrong? What if the most productive thing you could do right now is stop trying so hard? What if the most responsible thing isn't to control everything, but to trust that you've done enough? Because there's a huge difference between productive action and counterproductive force. Productive action is calm, focused, rooted in confidence. You do what needs to be done, and then you let it breathe. Counterproductive force? That's fueled by panic. You're doing too much, too fast, too tight, and wondering why everything's falling apart. Let the music play through you. Think about a great musician playing a complicated piece. Now imagine two versions of them. One is stiff, eyes wide, hands trembling, trying to nail every note. It sounds robotic, forced, soulless. The other? They close their eyes. They trust the rhythm, and the music flows through them. Same notes, same hands, completely different result. Why? Because one is forcing, the other is flowing. And your life? It's no different. You can follow the same plans, take the same actions, but if your energy is off, if you're tight with fear and clinging to control, you'll repel the very things you're chasing. But when you loosen that grip, something shifts. Conversations become smoother. Opportunities unfold without effort. Obstacles seem to shrink. It's not that life suddenly becomes easy. It's that you stop making it harder than it needs to be. Here's the kicker most people never see. Every time you try to force something, you're sending one loud message to the universe. I don't trust this. You're saying, if I don't control every detail, it's going to fall apart. And ironically, that fear, that distrust, it's what makes things fall apart. Force a conversation, people back away. Force a business deal, people sense your desperation. Force your creativity, and your work comes out flat, uninspired. The forcing becomes the failure. But now flip the energy. Approach that same conversation with presence and ease. Move into that business deal with calm confidence. Create from a place of trust and curiosity instead of panic and pressure. Now people lean in. Now ideas start to dance. Now the world opens doors, not because you're pushing, but because you're finally aligned with its rhythm. The confidence of letting go. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you give up. It means you stop needing everything to go your way in order to feel okay. You still want the job. You still want the relationship. You still want success. But you no longer depend on it to feel whole. And that shift, that's what makes people drawn to you. Because there's a quiet power in someone who shows up fully, but isn't begging the world to reward them. They move with a kind of energy that says, I'm here. I'm doing my part. And whatever happens, I'll be fine. And ironically, that's when everything starts happening. When you let go of attachment, life starts cooperating. You stop trying to force results, and better results show up. You stop clinging to your perfect plan, and a better plan emerges, one you couldn't have predicted. You stop pushing people to stay, and the right ones stay on their own. It's the paradox every high performer eventually discovers. When you stop needing, you start attracting. And the reason is simple. When you grip tightly, people feel pressure. When you move with trust, people feel safety. One repels, the other draws people in. Here's where the wisdom gets deeper. Most people think control equals power, but real power comes from non-resistance, from not needing to manipulate every variable, from letting things unfold without trying to script every scene. Alan Watts once said, muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone. And your life, your relationships, your career, your creativity, all of them become clearer the moment you stop trying to stir the water with your bare hands. Flow doesn't mean failure. Now here's where most people get it wrong. They hear let go and think it means give up. They think choosing flow means being lazy, passive, or careless. But letting go isn't weakness. It's wisdom. It's knowing the difference between what's in your control and what never was. It's being strong enough to show up, take action, give your best, but also wise enough to release the outcome. This is what separates the ones who burn out from the ones who break through. Because forcing everything all the time, that's the fastest way to drain your energy, your confidence, and your joy. Think about it. The people who try to control everything, they wake up anxious. They go to sleep with tension in their chest. They overthink texts, micromanage conversations, plan escape routes for problems that don't even exist yet, and they wonder why life feels heavy. Now think about the people who seem light, calm in chaos, rooted in uncertainty, effortlessly magnetic. They're not the ones frantically networking or chasing approval. They show up with value, with presence, with nothing to prove. That's not luck. That's what happens when you stop radiating need and start moving from confidence. Because the truth is this: life responds to energy, not effort. And desperate energy, it repels. That's why people back off when you want something too much. That's why the job slips away when you overpitch. That's why creativity dries up when you try to force it. But when your energy is rooted, calm, clear, grounded, things start to align. You've probably felt it before. You stop trying to impress someone, and suddenly they're into you. You stop obsessing over a goal, and it just unfolds. You stop forcing things, and everything clicks. Why struggle isn't strength? Here's what most people miss. They're addicted to the struggle. They've been taught that suffering equals effort, and effort means progress. So they wear burnout like a badge of honor, as if constantly fighting for something proves how much it matters. But that belief, that's what's keeping them stuck. Because ease isn't laziness, flow isn't weakness, and letting go doesn't mean you don't care. Letting go means you still take action, but without panic. You still show up, but without clinging to control. You still care, but you don't let outcomes hijack your peace. That's the shift. Because the people who win long term, they're not the ones constantly sprinting, forcing, stressing. They're the ones who know when to breathe, when to pause, when to trust. Here's something nobody tells you. When you're forcing something, you're not just creating tension inside yourself. You're creating resistance around you. People can feel it. Even if you don't say a word, they feel the agenda in your energy. Ever been around someone who needed something from you so badly, you just wanted to leave? That's what force does. But now imagine someone who's at ease, who offers value with no strings attached, who doesn't need anything from you. And that's exactly why you want to give them everything. That's the paradox. The less you need, the more you attract. The less you try to prove, the more people believe in you. The less you chase, the more comes your way. It's not mystical. It's energetic. It's human nature. People are drawn to certainty, to ease, to the kind of grounded confidence that says, I'm okay either way. Flow isn't a luxury, it's a skill. And here's the most liberating truth of all. Most of what you're forcing, you never needed to. Half the things you're stressed about, they'll resolve themselves if you just give them space. Half the conversations you're rehearsing in your head, they'll never even happen. Half the problems keeping you up at night, they'll be irrelevant in a month. You're spending enormous energy trying to control things that were never yours to hold. But the people who move through life with peace, they've learned to tell the difference. They know when to take action and when to step back, when to push and when to let go, when to trust. They've tuned into the rhythm of life, like a surfer reading waves. And once you learn to ride that rhythm, you stop drowning in resistance. This doesn't mean you stop dreaming big. It means you stop destroying yourself to chase it. You still set goals, but you're not shattered if the path changes. You still care deeply, but you don't lose yourself trying to prove your worth. You still give it your all, but from a place of joy, not desperation. Because the moment you need something too badly, you lose the very qualities that would have helped you get it. So the next time you catch yourself gripping, forcing, overthinking, obsessing, pause. And remember this: what's meant for you will never require you to abandon yourself to get it. The right people won't need chasing. The right path won't feel like drowning. And the right opportunities? They'll meet you when you stop fighting the current and finally start moving with it. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. That's not giving up. That's letting life do what it does best. Unfold.